Okay, imagine just for a second a book that really shifts how you see things. Like even just walking through a grocery store feels different afterwards.
Hmm.
Today, that's what we're diving into. Robin Wall Kimmerer's incredible book, Braiding Sweetgrass. It's really had a huge impact.
It really has. It's one of those books that stays with you.
Yeah, and our mission here is to sort of unpack Kimmerer's unique approach
Hmm.
because she weaves together science, indigenous wisdom, and her own personal stories.
Right. Masterfully, really.
How she does that without feeling, overwhelming. That's what we want to explore. It's like a shortcut to getting multiple perspectives, those real aha moments.
And I think that sets the stage perfectly because Braiding Sweetgrass, it isn't just another nature book. It's more like an invitation.
An invitation.
An invitation to cultivate a completely different kind of relationship with the world around us and with ourselves in it, really.
Okay, let's talk about her voice then. You mentioned it's distinctive. What makes her writing style, her cadence, so unique? How does she get that mix of like scientific detail and something almost prayerful?
Well, it's quite something. She'll use precise Latin, monarda fistulosa.
Right, the scientific name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then in the next breath, she might use indigenous grammar, like describing it as the plant who is known as the one who sits in the west.
Plant who?
Yes. And that oscillation, it's very deliberate. She refuses that either science or story. She insists on both hands.
So it's not a conflict for her.
Not at all. It actually deepens the understanding, breaks down those walls between, detached observation and lived experience. Her language itself embodies the reciprocity she talks about.
And that style, it's so lush,
Yeah.
but not sticky sweet,
Yeah.
precise, but not cold or clinical.
That's a great way to put it.
It makes you feel like she's really listened hard before writing. When she describes sweetgrass curing, you almost smell it. Or braiding it for unity, you can almost feel it in your hands. It pulls you right in.
Yeah, that sensory immersion is incredibly powerful. It feels very direct, like she's speaking right to you.
But, and this is key, she doesn't sacrifice the science for the poetry, does she? She's still a trained scientist.
Absolutely not. She can explain something like photosynthesis with total clarity, like textbook level clear. She lays out the biological facts.
Okay, so she gives you the hard science.
But then immediately after, she reframes it. Photosynthesis isn't just biology, it's an ethical lesson. It's generosity.
Generosity. How?
Well, plants take sunlight, convert it to food, and then they just give it away. That's the biochemistry.
Huh. I never thought of it like that.
Right. And her question then is profound. If plants can do that, practice this incredible generosity without, conscious thought, what's our excuse?
Wow. Okay. That hits hard.
It really challenges that whole idea of nature as just a resource for us to take. It positions nature as a giver and us as, well, hopefully grateful recipients.
That reframing is powerful, seeing a basic biological process as giving. And she pushes this idea of relationship further with language itself, right? The grammar of animacy.
Exactly. She talks about how many indigenous languages treat other beings, plants, animals, rivers, as subjects, not objects.
So not the tree that stands, but the tree who stands.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And she argues, very convincingly, I think, that this isn't just anthropomorphism. It's not projecting human stuff onto trees. It's actually more accurate.
More accurate how?
Because trees do stand, they breathe, they communicate in their own ways, they remember past conditions, they're active agents. So the grammar reflects a deeper reality.
So language isn't just labels, it actually shapes our relationship.
It's a technology for relationship, as she puts it. It can either connect us or distance us.
Okay, so if language reflects this deeper reality, how do the original instructions build on that? What are those?
The original instructions essentially are ancestral teachings. They're about how to live in a place without destroying it.
Like a set of rules.
Less like rigid commandments, more like...
Well, she frames it as observational science that's been refined over millennia.
Yeah.
Generations paying close attention, learning how ecosystems work.
So ancient wisdom as long-term science.
Exactly. It's a blueprint for living with the land, not just on it.
And she gives practical examples, right? Not just concepts.
Oh, absolutely. Very concrete stuff, like
Yeah.
only harvesting half the sweetgrass, leaving the rest to regenerate.
Makes sense.
Or understanding the necessity of fire for prairie health, burning it so it can breathe and thrive. And the core principle underlying it all, give back more than you take.
And this isn't romanticizing the past. She's showing the sophistication.
Definitely. She details things like the Potawatomi Three Sisters planting method corn, beans, and squash together.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Well, she explains how it works. The corn provides a stock for the beans fix nitrogen for the soil, the squash shades the ground.
A whole system. A whole system. And she shows how this polyculture often outyields modern monoculture, how mutualism actually outperforms individualism. Her point is that sovereignty, true independence, is ecological. It's about relationships.
That's fascinating that ancient methods based on cooperation can be more productive.
Mhm.
And you mentioned she talks about reciprocity, not just sustainability. What's the real difference there for us, the listener?
That's a really key distinction she makes. Sustainability, the way we usually talk about it, often implies just maintaining things, holding steady, trying not to make things worse. It can feel a bit static.
Right, like damage control.
Exactly. Reciprocity, though, demands more. It's an active, ongoing relationship, a give and take. You're not just taking less, you're consciously, actively giving back.
So sustainability is the floor.
And reciprocity is the ceiling, maybe? It's aspirational. Sustainability might ask, how do we lessen our impact here? Reciprocity asks, how can we contribute to the health of this place, and what gifts does it offer us in return?
Can you give an example?
Think of a garden. Sustainability might mean using organic methods, not over-harvesting. Reciprocity is more like tending the soil, saving and sharing seeds, composting, maybe singing to the plants, celebrating the harvest. Seeing yourself as truly part of that cycle, it requires way more engagement.
That really does reframe things. It's not just about not harming, but actively participating,
Yeah.
giving back. And Kimmerer, she lives this, right? She weaves her own story into the book. How does her personal journey act as, like, data for her arguments?
Completely. Her memoir isn't just decoration, it's evidence. She talks about her childhood, her struggles fitting into academia as an indigenous woman.
I remember reading about her first day as a professor.
Yes, being told objectivity meant erasing her heritage. She calls it documenting a controlled experiment in cultural genocide. So powerful.
Wow.
And she shares her failed attempt to learn Potawatomi from a dictionary, or her daughter refusing to speak the language of conquest. These aren't just anecdotes. They illustrate the very disconnection she's analyzing and the potential for reconnection.
So her life is the data, in a way,
Yeah.
showing how these systems work on a personal level.
Exactly. And showing that reciprocity is learnable. Like her daughter's question.
Right, why would a plant help us if we don't help it?
Kimmerer calls that empirical evidence that reciprocity is teachable. It comes naturally to a child who hasn't unlearned it.
And that story about the wild strawberries. Taking her students, asking them to leave offerings.
Yeah, hair, songs, stories. And when a student asks, but what does the plant want? The answer is so simple but deep. Respect, attention, gratitude.
But how does she make sure that's not just sentimentality, leaving a song for a strawberry plant?
Because she connects it back to ecology. She explains these aren't just gestures, they're ecological feedback loops.
Feedback loops. How?
Well, she cites research, for instance, suggesting plants that are tended with gratitude, maybe even thanked, actually produce more phytochemicals, the compounds often used in medicines. Seriously. So gratitude isn't just a nice feeling. In her words, it's good husbandry. It's practical. It influences the ecosystem in measurable ways.
Gratitude is good husbandry. So that's a concept. Okay, but the book isn't all beauty and connection. It tackles loss too, right? Grief.
Oh, definitely. She looks lost right in the eye. The near extinction of sweetgrass itself, the loss of the Potawatomi language, the death of her mentor.
That must be hard to write about and read about.
It is, but she treats grief differently, not as something to get over, but as a teacher. She literally offers sorrow as compost for hope.
Sorrow is compost.
Yeah. Think about the ritual she describes, burning sweetgrass at the end of the season. The smoke carries gratitude, yes, but also mourning. She calls it the smell of ancestors arriving. It connects past and future, loss and continuation.
So acknowledging the sorrow fuels the commitment to restore.
That's the idea. It's not about wallowing. It's about letting the grief deepen your connection and resolve.
And how does that philosophy translate into her actual teaching? Her restoration ecology classes sound unique.
They really do. Forget standard tests. Her students are graded on how well they actually restore a piece of degraded land on campus.
Wow. How do they measure that?
Success is measured in relationships restored, our pollinators coming back, our neighbors getting curious and asking questions, our kids learning the names of the plants. It's about the whole web.
That's incredible. And the final exam. The potluck.
The potluck, where each dish has something the student helped grow or forage. She tells that story of a student almost in tears, explaining how gathering acorns for bread taught her patience from the oak tree.
And the university committee is baffled.
The oak is not her perfect line. It just shows this deep embodied learning that goes way beyond memorizing facts.
That's such a powerful model for education.
Yeah.
So the book's impact seems huge, way beyond academia. What's its legacy been like in the real world?
It's been pretty remarkable. Yes, it's cited in UN reports and taught widely, but the really significant thing is how it changes everyday actions for people.
Like what?
People genuinely report doing things like, well, apologizing to tomatoes they forgot about in the fridge, or thanking bees, or consciously leaving the last mushroom in a patch.
Small acts.
Small acts, exactly. But Kimmerer argues they add up, they accumulate like mycelium, connecting individuals back into the ecosystem. It's a quiet revolution in perception and behavior.
It's amazing that a book can do that. But surely it's faced some criticism. Ideas this big often do.
Oh, for sure. Some critics worry it might romanticize indigenous knowledge, maybe boil down complex systems into neat little aphorisms.
Like Instagram-ready wisdom.
Kind of. Or that the language sometimes gets a bit too poetic. Maybe the sentimentality feels a little heavy.
Like thick as maple sap, I think one review said.
Something like that, yeah. But Kimmerer seems very aware of this potential.
How does she address it?
She consistently emphasizes that reciprocity isn't easy. It's not a meme, she says. It's labor. Yeah. Harvesting sweetgrass means kneeling for hours, hands bloodied by reed edges. Gratitude isn't just a hashtag, it's a discipline. It requires effort, attention, getting your hands dirty.
That's the key difference, then. It's not passive sentiment.
Right. It requires active, sometimes difficult engagement, not just feeling good, but doing good consistently.
So for you, the listener, engaging with these ideas, how do you tell the difference between real practice and just, feeling good about it? What's the test?
I think Kimmerer would suggest looking at the effort involved. Does it lead to actual changes in your actions, your choices? Does it require you to learn something new, to pay attention differently, maybe even sacrifice a little convenience?
So if it's easy, maybe question it.
Maybe. Genuine practice usually involves that labor, that discipline she talks about. It's about forging a real relationship, not just admiring from a distance. If it changes how you interact with the world, it's probably leaning towards practice.
So when you boil it all down, Braiding Sweetgrass isn't offering some simple checklist to fix the planet.
No, not at all. It's deeper than that. It's offering a different way of seeing. A perspective where saving the world feels less urgent because you recognize the world as this incredible, abundant gift that's already here, already generous.
And that quote of hers really sums it up.
In the end, we will conserve only what we love, we will love only what we understand, and we will understand only what we are taught. It puts the responsibility right back on us, on learning and loving.
So consider yourself, our listener, the newest student. Maybe after this, you step outside and just listen. Listen for that hush of photosynthesis, that small green grammar of reciprocity she talks about. It's been speaking all along.
Waiting for you to answer.
Isn't it an amazing journey to this book today? It really does make you think differently.
That's the power of it, to step outside, listen deeply, and really engage with the world as the incredible gift it is. The question is, what will you do with that understanding now?